Hello and welcome to the heart of the Northern California Coastal Redwood Forest. Thank you all so much for choosing to join me on this beautiful, foggy, humble afternoon as we go on an exploration through the Redwood Forest. I'm excited to zoom through what would be hundreds of human generations as we take a look at the journey that a redwood tree goes on throughout its life. When we leave this location, we'll be traveling on an easy to moderate about half-mile trail that will lead back here, so please make sure you are dressed for the weather and the adventure, and if you need to make any last-minute pit stops like use the restroom or fill up your water bottle, go ahead and do so now. Alright, it looks like we have a prepared group. So if you need any assistance during our hike, please do not hesitate to ask me or the volunteer chaperone that's going to hang out in the back of the group. We both have radios and first aid kits and can definitely help you out in any way that you need. So again, don't hesitate to ask. Alright, let's go ahead and begin. So hello, my name is Lynsey and I am an interpretive naturalist with the city of Arcata, and I have been doing programs here in the community forest for all age groups for about 5 years now. And even though I come to this forest for both my job and personal recreation use, I am still inspired by the amazing communities that are surrounding us right this very moment. So let's go ahead and begin. So today we are here to see how redwood trees play an important role in their community as they grow and develop over thousands of years. So without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. So for those of you who have never visited the redwood forest before, first of all, welcome, and second of all, this here is a redwood tree. Redwood trees are known as being the tallest trees on the planet with an average height of about 250 to 300 feet. So technically, we are currently surrounded by a bunch of celebrities. Don't tell them though, because they get a little nervous, so just stay cool. The tallest individual is located just north of us here in Arcata in the Redwood National Park. Its name is Hyperion, and it stands at 379 feet tall. Here's a picture if you guys wanted to see. And just to put that into perspective, that is 5 stories taller than the Statue of Liberty, so definitely a very, very large tree. The average age of a redwood tree is about 500 to 1500 years, with oldest individuals being upwards of 2,000 years old. That means that there are redwood trees standing alive today that started growing around the rise of the Roman Empire. So definitely a very different world than today. Redwood trees grow along the Northern California coast into southern Oregon and rely on the cool, moist fog coming in off of the Pacific Ocean, and have thrived in this region for more than 20 million years. Redwood tree's scientific name is Sequoia sempervirens, or Sequoia everlasting, but that everlasting is not have to do with the tree's ability to age so long, but actually for their innovative ways of being able to start off their life. So let's go ahead and head on out. We're gonna go all the way back to the beginning to where a redwood tree starts its life cycle. So if you guys want to follow me as we're walking down the trail, I want you guys to take a look around and see if maybe you can start identifying these redwood trees from the other trees that are in this forest. All right, let's head on out. All right, if you can hear me, point up towards the sun and yell, sunlight. Go ahead, take a deep breath in and say oxygen. And now let that breath out and say carbon dioxide. Now everyone be really, really quiet and listen. Do you hear that trickling off in the distance? Everyone say water. And now go ahead, dig your fingers down into the ground and say soil. These are the necessary ingredients that it takes to grow a redwood tree. And where your hands are right now is where it all begins. So a redwood tree, the start off to their life is not always sunshine and rainbows. That these trees definitely know how to give themselves the best shot at survival. And even if they don't survive, which a lot of them we're gonna find out don't, they still provide for their forest community, even at this young age. While you're looking around in the soil, you may be lucky enough to find yourself a redwood cone. So here's an example of a spent cone from last season, and here I have a picture of some other cones and seeds. So a redwood cone is about 1/2 inch to 1 inch long, and the seeds on the inside are about the same size as a tomato seed. So it's pretty crazy to think about how something so small can one day produce something so large. Now, I have a question for you all. How many seeds do you think are inside each of these little cones? Maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 100? Well, scientists have figured out that on average there is about 15 to 30 seeds inside each of those cones. And each tree annually, each mature tree, is going to produce about 100,000 seeds, which by the way is only about a pound, so they're definitely really small. These cones do require low humidity to dry out enough for the seeds to be able to extract themselves. So definitely perfect conditions need to be required. And like I said before, not very many of them are going to survive. Only about 5% of the seeds are going to be viable under ideal conditions to be able to grow a redwood tree one day. But those seeds are definitely not going to waste. Once they're on the ground, they are consumed by decomposers and other critters, and that nutrients is returned back into the soil for the forest to use again. So if you guys want to go ahead and rotate your bodies to the other side of the trail, we're going to check out something right over there. So that scientific name, Sequoia everlasting, comes from this tree's innovative way to be able to sprout from both a seed and from the existing rootstock of a nursery tree. So this way of growth is definitely much more successful for the redwood tree because the new tree is going to be hooked up to that existing tree's root system where it's going to give it water and other nutrients to help it grow big and strong much faster than from a seed. So I want you guys to take a look around at these trees that are surrounding me right now. What is something that you notice about these guys? Hopefully what you notice is that they appear to be growing in a circle around this tree right here. So this tree would be known as the nursery tree or the parent tree, and even though it is no longer alive, it is supplying via its root system for all of these other trees that are in the circle around it, which is pretty amazing. So even when it's not alive, it is still providing for the community around it. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to travel a couple of years into the future and check out our next stage of growth. So go ahead and follow me. All right, hello everyone and welcome to our next stage in our redwood tree life cycle. To start off, I want everyone to go ahead and make about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch circle with your fingers here, and then take a look around the forest and see if you can find any trees that are about that size. So those ones are going to be our young seedlings, but they're going to transition pretty quickly into the next stage, which everyone open up your arms like you're about to give someone a big hug. And now take a look around and see if there are trees that you couldn't even wrap your arms around. Those are the mature trees. So the transition from seedling to mature tree may happen slowly in our eyes, but for a tree that can live and provide habitats for its community for thousands of years, it's more like a blink of an eye. So a young tree can grow under ideal conditions about 2 to 3 feet per year, and as it starts growing in height, it is going to provide habitats for other plants like epiphytes, animals like birds and bobcats, insects like banana slugs, and fungus and bacteria with thriving communities underneath our feet right now. The bark of a mature tree is going to be about a foot thick, and it's rich with tannic acid, which helps protects the tree from forest fires, bacteria, and fungus, and helps it live even longer. I want you guys to go ahead and raise your hand if you have ever had a cup of tea that was really bitter. Maybe it made your mouth pucker a little bit, maybe it even left your mouth a little dry. So those are the tannic acids that you are tasting. Pretty cool that you guys have even had tannic acid inside of you as well. So the name tannic acid comes from one of the original uses that humans used it for, which was to tan animal hides into leather. So fun fact there for you. So we saw that a mature tree can provide habitats and other benefits to hundreds of different species that also call this forest home. And those benefits definitely do not end anywhere near the time that the tree's life ends, but goes well beyond it. So let's go ahead and check that out at our next stop. Come quick everyone, come look at the FBI at work. And no, I don't mean the Federal Bureau of Investigation, I mean fungus, bacteria, and invertebrates, which this fallen redwood tree is packed full of. So snags and fallen trees may look lifeless at first glance, But old trees are full of new life trying to make a home and organisms working day and night to break down the materials in this fallen tree and return them back into the forest to be used again. So, soil saturation, erosion, windstorms, forest fires, those are all examples of how a redwood tree may topple. But just because it's falling and may not be living anymore doesn't mean that the tree is not still providing for its forest community. It can take centuries for a redwood tree to completely decompose, but as soon as that tree hits the ground, it is going to make light more available to the tree surrounding, which is going to allow for new growth. Earlier we were talking about the FBI, or the fungus, bacteria, and vertebrates that are working day and night to break down this log so that nutrients can be used again by the forest. These logs also provide habitats for things like this moss right here, or this lichen, or insects, and many other species. Even if a log was to fall into a stream, it's going to provide prime habitat for young fish and other aquatic life, as well as slowing down that speed of the water during storms, which is going to help prevent erosion. So, even though these gentle giants live for upwards of 2,000 years, even for hundreds of years afterwards, they are still providing so many benefits to their forest community. All right, let's head on out and check out our last stop where we're gonna wrap it up, okay? Hello everyone, and welcome back to where we began our hike. Thank you so much all for coming on this hike with me today and seeing how redwood trees play an important role in their community as they grow and mature over thousands of years. Today we took a look at how a small but mighty seed turns into a sprout, and how a mature tree provides for literally hundreds of different species, and how a old tree may provide new life even after 2,000 plus years of already providing for that forest. I hope you all enjoyed this hike, maybe learned something new, and of course I really hope you found some inspiration in these trees, just like I find inspiration in these trees every time I visit. It's definitely up to us to protect these forests. There's not very many of them remaining, so please continue visiting, continue learning, and of course, spread the word of these magical, gentle giants. If you guys would like to continue hiking around, just let me know. I can definitely guide you on some of the trails or give you a trail map. But otherwise, thank you so much all for joining me today. Have a great day.